What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday night. It is the Fantasy and Frames Waiver Wire Show. I'm your host, Stacey Perez. We got the gang all here. We are here to give you the latest and the greatest, most up-to-date waiver information to help you get that edge on your league mates. And man, you are going to need it after this week and all those injuries that are out there, because I'm pretty sure half the league is on IR at this point. Guys, how's everybody's day going? How's your week going? How was your Sunday? Are you all just like distraught over all the injuries like I am?
No, Brock Bowers is the best tight end in football, so I'm doing pretty freaking well. Thank you very much.
Wow. Keith is just spitting fire over here. Anybody else care to join in or jump in on that?
I mean, just a quick macro take here on the state of injuries in the NFL. All you got to do is just roster the non-injured players. Like, follow me for more advice like that.
Hashtag analysis. Erica, what's up? How's your day?
Good. I've just realized I'm in so many leagues that injuries don't even plague me because I've got someone injured everywhere and it doesn't even matter.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
Get an injury. You get an injury.
Oprah.
Everybody gets an injury. Yep.
Rich, what's up?
Not much. Just ready to talk a little waiver wire action.
No, you're not going to talk about them 2-0 Minnesota Vikings? Come on, Rich.
Well, I try not to get too biased up in here, but yeah, we are 2-0, and it's amazing. Leading the NFC North right now. Who saw that coming? Not this guy, but I'm happy about it.
Hey, who brought up that y'all had a chance to beat them? You beat them last year. I did not know y'all had not, or the Niners had not won there since like the early 90s. But go Vikings, man. I'm very happy for Darnold, and I'm very happy for O'Connell. I think is the most underrated offensive play caller / head coach in football.
Absolutely.
Rich was ready, by the way, for to talk about the Vikings. Like he was like, I did not have a speech prepared as he pulls off the paper. But yeah,
let's save for the next week. If we beat the Texans, we'll
when
I'll come back when we beat the Texans. I'll come back and
Look,
we'll have a talk.
Honestly, get the bronze bust ready for Kevin O'Connell. I mean, that should be being built outside of US Bank Stadium like right now.
Yes.
I feel like Keith completely teed you up, Rich, to pull a Jimmy Garoppolo and be like, "Feels great, baby." Remember that from the Aaron Andrews interview?
Yeah.
The Niners. All right, guys. Well, tonight we are going to be sharing with you some of our favorite waiver wire ads. We're going to go position group by position group. Our numbers are coming from Sleeper. I also looked into the Yahoo and ESPN numbers as well for some picks, and we have got great information for you. Also, just right off the bat, if you are on Twitter, you want to get some more detailed info, you can go check out Erica's waiver article over here that just dropped earlier this afternoon. That's over at fantasyandframes.com. Go take a look at that. If you were into IDP or looking for ads for this week, you unfortunately didn't have Aiden Hutchinson on your team. Maybe you've got to get a replacement. Go take a look at Gary Davenport's IDP waiver article that is also on fantasyandframes.com. Give us a like and subscribe. You can get all that information as soon as it hits.
Stacey, because we're not going to talk defenses, I want to remind everyone the Las Vegas Raiders the next 3 weeks, Carolina, Cleveland, Denver. So you're going to get Dalton, Watson, Bo Nix. Go grab the Las Vegas Raiders in your league. Stream.
Sorry,
yes.
I had the Steelers already.
Well, then that's a good call. But I mean,
because they have literally the softest schedule in the National Football League.
I think that's doing okay for you. That's
We'll get to it.
There we go. All right, guys. So we're going to start off with quarterback here. Let's throw up our quarterback article now. I got to remember exactly how to get everybody. Nope, that's not it.
Hello, man. I look good though in that frame right there. You look really good right there.
I do, obviously. We got to find a way.
Technical difficulties.
This is great. Am I just? Oh, am I the idiot here?
Perfect.
There we go.
It is.
Boom.
Man, guys, we'll get through it together. We will get through it together.
We are getting through it all right.
We are.
Jason just asked a comment in the what's since it's about running backs, why don't we do that when we get to running back? So Jason, if you're listening, we will get to that in the next position.
Exactly. Jason, we will do running backs exactly like he said here in just a second. So hang tight. We've got a lot of these guys we're going to be talking about anyway. So
audience retention.
Exactly. Exactly. But stay tuned. Stay tuned for the goods. All right. So let's start with how we've got them ranked here from highest percentage rostered all the way down to lowest. We've got Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, Derek Carr, Drake May, and the one and only Mustache Minshew on our sheet here. Geno Smith, that is going to be Kev.
Oh, I was going to say we should do the game where we try to figure out who picked who, but that's okay.
Well,
go ahead.
I would, Keith, except we have 20 players to get through tonight.
That's fair. Very fair.
So we are going to have to.
She's like, and you're the one that takes up the most time on this show, running your mouth. So
I'm gonna set my timer for two minutes. You get 2 minutes to talk about your player, and then you're going to get buzzed. All right. Is that fair,
so
everybody? Go.
That is fair. I might not take all 2 minutes because it's a very, I would say, a compelling case. With Geno Smith, like you're streaming quarterbacks, if you have Jordan Love, if you're trying to figure out the quarterback position, Geno Smith's a really good option. Next 3 weeks, Dolphins, Lions, Giants. All three defenses. Yes. Oh my. So third highest catchable throw rate for Geno Smith of all quarterbacks, qualified quarterbacks, second lowest off target percentage, second highest completion percentage over expected, and also another fun stat, third highest quarterback rating on passes 10 to 19 yards downfield. Very money zone there for guys like JSN, for DK Metcalf, where we saw JSN basically break out in front of our eyes last week against the Patriots. And look, Geno Smith has been at the forefront of dispelling the West Coast team heading east for a 1 o'clock local time start. I mean, well, it doesn't get better than that. So I'm not going to take the full 2 minutes. I know we got a full show lined up here, but I think Geno Smith should be rostered in many more than 29% of leagues.
Thank you very much. Well, since you didn't take up the full entirety of the time, I wanted to do a little TikTok trend that is sweeping the nation. I don't know if you guys have
they're
seen
eating their dogs, they're eating their cats.
That's not a TikTok trend, Keith. Thank God. No. I'm talking about the one where, have you guys seen where social media teams are coming up to players asking them to sign like certain pictures? Have you guys seen this? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Do we have Kev's photo?
Oh crap! No.
Yes.
I forgot again.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hang on. I got to get the overlay off. Damn it.
Stacy.
I know. There we go. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
That's
not even the good picture. But that's not even the good picture, by the way.
What is on the sweater?
That's a little Jonathan Taylor Thomas vibes necklace. Coming from that, right?
Oh my God, it's amazing.
It is.
You like the little shells too? That was
2001
was a time. I swear.
What is on the your like chest? What is that?
Is that a boutonniere?
That was a little like a corsage kind of thing. Because
it's like a dance or something.
No, it was actually, I think it was an awards thing for marching band, I do believe.
Nice. What was what instrument did you play?
I played trombone.
Oh my God!
I can see it.
Walking out, I can see it too.
Were you a tromboner? Is that what they called them?
Boners.
Never heard
what
that
they
before.
called them. Boners.
Listen, whatever. On one of the TikToks, one of the players played trombone. He was in the band, and that's what he called it. I don't remember which team it was or who it was. But
I was in color guard.
Very made up.
No
I was
way.
in color guard with the flags, and we called ourselves flagons. So
yes, man. Hello. Now I don't know if that would fly today, Eric. What do you
Probably
think?
not.
Yeah, probably
It
not.
really was a different time.
It was.
Yes, it was.
Different times.
I mean, running backs were drafted early in fantasy football drafts. It was a totally different era.
Yeah.
Right, Kev?
Totally different world. All right, guys. So Sam Darnold, Erica, you're up. Tell us about Mr. Viking.
I'm just keeping mine super brief because most of my guys are in the waiver article that everyone should check out over on fantasyandflames.com.
Everyone should check out.
Everyone. So even got some IDP and threw in the Raiders for that, just so you know. But I am bringing up Sam Darnold just because he's on fire right now. I mean, there's no stopping this guy. And if JJ stays healthy, even if JJ doesn't stay healthy at this point, Sam is just throwing the ball. And right now he has a 72% completion rate. And for the next 2 weeks, he gets Houston and Green Bay defenses. So I think he's a good pickup, good streaming option for at least the next 2 weeks. And hopefully JJ can stay healthy for him.
We have been telling you guys about Sam Darnold for I don't know how many weeks now. Go get him. I don't know why he's still only rostered in this low amount of leagues. So I don't know what you guys are doing. Go get him.
Led the league in passing last year. Kirk Cousins played 8 games. So the Vikings offense is like Jaron Hall, who was it? Dobbs and Mullins still led the league in passing yardage. And they played 9 of the 17 games. So go get them.
Erica, are you ready? You ready for it?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Are we're straight up doxing people?
Why am I friends with you on Facebook?
This is what happens, guys, when you go on Facebook. Facebook is a plethora of
I want to make sure, Stacey, before we get any further.
Oh, I do.
Is there going to be a picture of yourself, or do I need to take care of that right now?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I have one. I have one.
What year was that?
I don't know. I think it says
2008. Yeah.
2008.
So
I love how you're asking her, by the way.
I can't see. I have my glass. Can't see anything. So that would have been prom. That would have been my senior prom.
It was the worst of times.
Yep.
High school. High school.
Lord.
My grandma still lives in that house.
High school. God, I wish I could remember high school.
Eric is so young and innocent. Look how cute you are. Oh, guys. Crazy kids. So cute. Oh my goodness. All right, let's look at me. I'm getting better with the graphics.
All right, just wanted to practice, by the way, going back and forth.
I absolutely did. All right, Rich, you're up with our obligatory Saints pick of the week.
Right.
We have to pick a Saints player every single week just to piss Keith off.
Screw you, Stacey. I'll allow this one. Okay, just for the record.
Right. Yeah. No, I felt bad doing it, Keith. I really did. But 12% owned and having being QB2, that was just an easy pickup right there. 22.1 points per game. He has 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, 443 yards so far. Derek Carr has just been electric, which is weird to say, but here we are in the year of 2024 of our Lord. 4th best strength of schedule according to Fantasy Pros. That's actually kind of the biggest thing that I was looking at, was the strength of schedule moving forward. He has an excellent strength of schedule, especially during the playoffs. So if you already have a quarterback, he might be a good stash just for the playoffs. He's got the Rams, the Giants, the Commanders, and the Packers weeks 13 through 16. And I could see him tearing those apart. So
I think it's fair to say too that Carr's shoulder injury last year was a legit excuse, because if you look, he started okay, got the shoulder injury early, and then it was a really rough stretch. And now imagine that when your shoulder is healthy and you can actually throw the ball down the field with those weapons, you look a lot better. And I think Kevin will agree, the play caller difference, it shows how much difference in scheme and who's calling the plays.
Right. And the thing that's the most underrated about all of that, when we talk about, you can talk about anybody, but quarterbacks almost especially, is that, arm talent is great. Just God-given talent is great. That's what we've been propping up Justin Herbert for years. But scheme and a coach that just knows how to put players in good situations and gives a little bit of leeway and some freedom to do what you got to do. That's been one of the biggest things with Clint Kubiak, is that they've had to be, the Saints have had to be pigeonholed with Pete Carmichael and Sean Payton for the last decade and a half with Drew Brees and all that. And now they're in a brand new scheme, the first new scheme since before Drew Brees. And now we're getting modern offense, a current offense with Derek Carr, who I'm not going to say he's a complete world beater, because he's not. And I think the middle of the schedule for the Saints is going to be very telling in terms of when the league adjusts to what Clint Kubiak is doing, when they have to play the Saints like they're playing every other team now, how are they going to adjust mid to late season? And I think to Rich's point with the strength of schedule, when you have an easier schedule, that adjustment from having to adjust to the adjustments is going to be incredibly important for Derek Carr. And I think if Clint Kubiak is worth his salt, if he's going to be, he's already vaulted himself to being one of the hottest head coaching candidates for 2025. If that's going to come to fruition, then he's going to have to rise up with Derek Carr in the late season. So I think that's very important.
Ooh, completely agree. Yep.
What up, Albert?
We've got Albert up in here in the chat. Guys, we got a question from T-Bills15 over here. Any of these quarterbacks over Kirk Cousins? I know we haven't talked about Drake May or Gardner Minshew yet. I don't think we're taking either one of those two over Kirk yet. But any of these top three. So sorry.
Top three.
Yeah.
Top three. Yeah.
Any of the top three? You're comfortable with?
Gino and Carr for sure. Darnold, I might want to wait a few more weeks.
I trust Kevin O'Connell more than I trust myself, so I'll take him. Yeah. And that's weird to say.
I just think we saw
I'm definitely stashing him where I can.
Week. Well, what about Cousins though? Because to me, you did see, last night.
Yeah, you saw some meaningful, actual like production with it more comfortable. I think the comfortability on that Achilles was the thing we wanted to see the most. I mean, I think we know that Kirk, I mean, there were some throws that you could see from like the all 22 and from like highlights in week 1 where you could see he was not putting any pressure on his Achilles and having to use solely his arm to get the ball to where he had to go. And now he's driving into throws.
Could Kevin O'Connell fix Bryce Young?
Yes.
He can fit. Yeah. I mean,
I think so.
I think
you put Bryce Young on that team. Oh baby,
he could fix me.
Oh baby,
is he the new Shanahan? Where like you can drop any QB in that offense and they're going to be fine.
Because in Bryce's defense, they changed coordinators. He's a rookie. He didn't play any of the preseason. If you look at it, Carr played 2 preseason games. CJ Stroud, another guy in his second year, played 2 preseason games. They've done 0 favors to Bryce Young. I'm not saying that he didn't deserve to be benched in the sense that he's been awful, but they have done 0 favors for Bryce Young since he's been drafted in Carolina. 0.
This is true. All right, guys, we got to move it along. Sorry, we've got 2 more QBs to talk about. Rich, you are not getting off that easily.
Yes.
We gotta throw the Rich picture up here.
Oh, that's Stacy.
There we go. Rich,
oh my God.
Are you 18 in this photo? Is this
I was definitely 18 for sure.
Is it a left-handed or right-handed cigarette?
Way to legally, do that. Yeah.
That's very artsy, though.
It is.
Thank you. Yeah. No, this was
the album cover.
That was a cool cigarette.
That's all Rich needs.
Right. Yeah. I was definitely. I was a bad kid back in the day. I was one of those bad kids.
Is this the
girls love the bad boys, Rick.
Picture?
Yeah.
What's that?
Is this the teenage dirtbag picture?
Oh, absolutely.
You look like about to get songwriting credits right
now. Oh my goodness. That was great. That was a good one. All right, guys. Keith, you're up. Tell me why we should be going to get Drake May.
This is going to be the shortest Keith Fleming speech ever. There is 10 days between his start Thursday and the next New England Patriots game. I think that there is a decent chance that they name Drake May the starter, especially if they lose this game, fall to 1-2. I think Drake May is a talented quarterback, somebody who will be able to have an impact immediately. And the Patriots offenses look better than I thought it would with Jacoby Brissett. So I think it's worth the stash. He could have real upside, the rest of the way.
Yeah.
30 seconds. Not bad.
Wow. Put that in the record books. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Bravo. All right. Well, Keith, don't think you escaped either because my friend, you did not.
Good luck finding a bad picture of me.
Did they have photography back then?
Here we go.
Oh my God, you went with Fat Keith. What the fudge?
Keith, you had so many to choose from. It really took me a long time to narrow it down, but
I can't believe you didn't go younger, Keith, because I'm a grown-ass man there. I think I was, let's see, this would have been around 2011. So I would have been out of high school for over a decade and out of college for like 7 years. So I did have fun wrapping that door though. And no, my supervisor was not excited about it. So
that's great. That is
That's so good.
Photo.
the mock turtle is not a good look though. Somebody should have told me. Rough look. I did rock those Harry Potter glasses though, if I say so myself.
Those are some hardcore Harry Potter glasses. Absolutely. All right, guys. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Gardner Minshew real quick. Rostered in 11% of leagues over on Sleeper, 4% if you are on Yahoo or ESPN. Guys, listen, he's good for a week if you need him for a week. All right. I don't recommend going to get him and, starting him, firing him up every single week. All right. But they do play Carolina this week. Carolina gave up an average of 16.7 fantasy points to opposing teams' quarterbacks over the last 2 weeks. I don't know why I said it so weird. Anyway, he's passed for over 200 yards in each week. He's got a touchdown in each week. He's going to YOLO it. He's going to throw it up there to Adams, to Bowers. They're going to come down and get it. I think this is a good start for him this week. Like I said, you're not going to get him for any other times besides this coming week 3. All right. That's my spiel for Gardner Minshew. If you're in a deeper league, maybe some of these guys, Carr, Darnold, Smith, they're already gone. Somebody that you can throw in for this week. And I'm not going to let myself get away with it. I'm going to throw a picture of myself up here. Don't you worry, guys. Now, let me get back here.
I love if it's like a, like a
Oh, did I do it right? Yeah, I did it right. No, where'd it go? There we go.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Boy.
I couldn't find an older one on Facebook. I don't know why. But this is from, this is at least like 15 years ago. Obviously, look at this camera in my hand.
Cameron crazy?
Yeah, I'm a Duke fan. Yeah.
Are you
really?
I've been there.
Is that what it was?
I went there. I've been there once, and that was the game that Boeheim got ejected.
I wanted to go to law school there so that I could go camp out at Krzyzewskiville. They surprisingly, shockingly did not want me. That's okay. That is all right. But yeah, this was at the Florida State Fair. And that's
it's the blonde hair. Like
I
can't see it.
Yeah, the bob with the strawberry blonde there. That's and a great face. It was a super classy photo of me.
Super classy. Jorge is losing his mind in the comments.
Jorge's the Commanders fan. Is he really right to judge anybody? I mean, I'm just saying.
Right.
Love you, boss man, but come on.
Oh my goodness. All right, that's enough. Okay, guys. I thank you for playing along with my fun.
Enough doxing for one night.
I know why we're
amazing.
Facebook friends now.
Exactly. Well, see, this is what happens when you friend me on Facebook. Be prepared.
For now.
We're gonna go get your old
amazing.
photos. Okay, so we're moving it on. As we promised to our friend Jason up here, he wants to know how we would rank the waiver running backs of Carson Steele, Samaje Perine, Antonio Gibson, Blake Corum, Kareem Hunt, Bucky Irving, in a half-point PPR. Also, would we drop Parkinson for Freiermuth?
B, I would say yes. Is everybody in agreement with that?
Wait, which one?
Parkinson for Freiermuth.
Yes.
I would rather have Freiermuth moving forward than Parkinson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's B. Now we get into the ranking. Does everybody have a clear one that they want?
Top 2 are fine.
I actually think Bucky Irving should be much higher.
I do.
Irving is after Perine.
Right.
I'd have it Steele,
Okay.
Perine, Irving, Gibson,
I
Corum,
think
Hunt.
Corum a little higher. I think Hunt's the last one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corum is very roster specific, where you have to have the room, and you're basically eliminating a bench spot. And not a lot of people. I mean, especially if you're 1-1 or 0-2, people do not want to. I mean, giving up a bench spot for a contingency player, which that's what he is. He's a pure, no standalone value whatsoever contingent play on the Rams backfield, which we know can be fruitful, certainly. But yeah, you need a roster specific build for that.
The big thing with Hunt that I would say too is like the fact that they said that it's going to take a few weeks for him just to get back up to game speed. Like that's why he's last for me. He's not ready to play anytime soon. I don't expect him to play.
If you believe in Kareem Hunt, Rich, or know anybody that does, I want to sell you some property. Okay.
And the thing is,
Right.
What do you get if
Not
you win?
happening.
What if you get if you win that with Kareem Hunt? Where you waited 4 weeks for a Kareem Hunt? It's like you're not getting anything. It's like quorum. You're not getting anything for those 4 weeks, and then you're getting what 30% of the routes and like a little bit of snaps. Like it's not. I don't think it's worth it, honestly. And there's a good chance he could just get cut.
Yeah. Safe to say we are not Kareem Hunt fans. All right, guys, here's our top running back waiver wire ads. Antonio Gibson, Ray Davis, Braylon Allen, Carson Steele, Cam Akers make the cut. Let's start with Antonio Gibson. Erica, this is your pick. Tell us why we should be getting Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it short again, but the most yards that he had was on one single run, but he was also averaging 5.1 yards per carry before that one 45-yard run. So he's been on the field for 24% of all snaps, including the goal line. So he's not going to beat Ramondre, for snaps and targets and counts, but he's going to be on the field. He's going to be that change of pace back, and he's seeing some goal line touches. So I think he's a good pickup.
Nice. Kev, sweet Ray Davis.
I'm going to go full Bernie Sanders meme and go, I am once again asking you all to go pick up Ray Davis. I'm just going to keep saying it until you guys pump up those numbers. Contingent play for one of the most run-heavy teams in the league with the second best EPA per play among all 32 teams. Bottom 8 team in pass rate over expected. So in situations where maybe the Bills shouldn't be running the ball, they are running the ball because that is their offense, aside from Josh Allen and the random, Khalil Shakir touchdown that he throws. But, a lot of Ray Davis's work last week wasn't garbage time when they were up 3 touchdowns, when they did not need James Cook. But still, the fact remains he needs to be rostered in all leagues based on how fruitful the Bills' running game is. And Ray Davis, there's definitely a path there where he can start gaining work in meaningful situations as well. As the bigger back, as the season goes on, Ray Davis might be, needed to do a lot of the heavy lifting that we saw Latavius Murray do, what they picked up Damian Harris last year's free agency for is to provide more of a thunder kind of element and some goal line stuff, maybe some early down work as well. That is definitely still in the cards for Ray Davis. So I think he should be rostered as a contingent play with possibility of more standalone work in the coming weeks. More than 23% of leagues should have Ray Davis.
Nice. All right, Keith. Braylon Allen from the Jets is your pick.
May I say that it made my heart full to see Braylon Allen on this list. It really did. It really did.
Well, Rich, that is literally my number one goal each week on this show. So put it in the win column for your boy already. The youngest player in the NFL, shockingly, this kid is still 20 years old. Did a lot with a little last week. 7 carries, 4 targets, caught 2 passes, turned it into 56 yards. Of course, the more important thing, 2 scores. He's averaging the first 2 games 8 yards per touch. You obviously are not going to expect too much from Braylon Allen. However, I think that the Jets are going to lean on their backs a lot this season, and they do not want to wear down Breece Hall, and that is why he was more used in week 2 than he was in week 1. The Jets, week 1, 29 pass plays to 19 run plays. Remember, that was a game that they got down very quickly. 24% of Aaron Rodgers' passes went to running backs. Week 2, a game that was competitive throughout, 30 pass attempts to 24 rush attempts. 40% of the passing plays went to running backs. I think that's going to be a theme. Outside of Garrett Wilson, the Jets are kind of weak at pass catcher. And you could argue their next 2 best pass catchers are Allen and Breece Hall, who can really make guys move out of the backfield. And I think that they're going to continue to use this young man. And I loved what I saw from him. He's electric. He runs hard. And I mean, how cool is it just to know that the oldest guy in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers, is throwing touchdown passes to the youngest guy in the NFL, and Braylon Allen. I think the Jets found what they need their offense to be week 2 versus the Titans, and we're going to see kind of more of this split And if Allen gets, say, 6 to 10 touches per game, I think there's value in having him rostered for bye weeks and such. And then, God forbid something happens to Breece Hall, let's open the floodgates. He could become a monster.
Well, not only youngest player in the NFL, youngest player in NFL history to get both a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown in a single game. That is a stat.
Look at you statting
it No. I found that from it was a Field Yates quote. So credit to Mr. Yates over there.
Screw Bill Gates. He gets enough pub. I'm giving it to you.
Oh, come on.
And Allen, is definitely one of the most best contingent plays, certainly, of any running back. And Aaron Rodgers hasn't been talking to his family as long as Brilliant Allen's been alive. So I think that's something kind of wild.
Yeah. That's you. I mean, you're.
This is a slander Aaron Rodgers program.
No, it is not a slander Aaron Rodgers program. I don't know why you guys.
Well, we were going to talk about how the Packers have proved that Rodgers was holding them back the last couple of years, but whatever.
Not that. All right, guys. So real quick, I'd like to introduce you. If you didn't draft him on your team,
like me and Stacy.
Exactly. I'd like to show you Mr. Carson Steele. Yeah. This lovely AI generated image here from Eric at Napsterman on the Twitter machine shows us Carson Steele riding his alligator, which was.
Why is he from Florida? Why am I missing the alligator?
Because he had a picture of him. I think they showed it on that Thursday game, right? Of him holding the gator.
It's his pet. He has a pet alligator.
Love
it.
Okay. I'm pro.
I can't believe he's not from Florida.
It looks like the cover of a weird Walmart novel. Not gonna lie.
He's like, what was it, Fabio? He looks like the modern day Fabio.
Yeah.
It's like it's instead of like a court of thorns and roses, it has something to do with
Man of Steel.
Yeah, something like that. Oh my God, guys. All right, I'm gonna keep us on track, guys. Carson Steele, rostered in only 4% of leagues. I'm sure there are some of you out there that probably dropped him after the first week when you went to go pick him up after Samaje Perine was signed.
Would have been higher if we didn't drop him.
Would have been higher if we didn't drop him. Exactly, Kevin, if we didn't drop him. So let me just share with you my thoughts on Carson Steele and why he is going to be the one that you want to go get, right? So it's obviously going to be a running back by committee. You've got Perine, you've got Steele. They've got different skill sets, okay? Perine is going to be your pass catching back. Steele's going to be your short yardage, goal line, early down guy, right? And now we got Kareem Hunt in the mix, all right? Like, who's afraid of little old Kareem? Maybe Perine should be, because if anybody's got the same skill set as Samaje Perine, it's going to be Kareem Hunt, all right? Why, he does have no, you don't think so, Kev? The pass catching, they're used similar.
I have opinions, but
okay, he's just steaming because he's been down on Steele since
exactly
the preseason ended.
And now finally,
I am not anti-bag defending here. I will beat these accusations.
All right, guys. So anywho, Samaje Perine, just so you know, has 0 rushing yards and only 13 receiving yards so far. I just decided to throw that out there, Kev. So anyway,
for 2 weeks.
Tomato. Anyway, it's Steele for me. I think they both have upside. I think they both have value. I think Kareem Hunt has 0 value on this team. I'm not wasting any money on Kareem Hunt. I think there are other options, better options for you if that's what you're looking at. Let's put it that way. Go ahead, Kev.
I'm just when I look at this backfield, if you open up your third eye and you just open up your ears to the possibilities, and you can hear Jim Nantz every other week when he calls Chiefs games going, Samaje Perine scoring a touchdown. When he starts getting more acclimated, his role is absolutely safe. He's going to have a lot of high value touches with the receptions. He's going to chip in on the ground as well. I do think Carson Steele should be added. I think he's the top claim, of week 3. Certainly should be added. I think there's definitely an upside to him where if he just takes, this job and runs with it, literally, I think that's certainly well within the range of outcomes. But I do think that Perine's role is going to ramp up. I think there's going to be more high value touches out of probably double up Steele, if we're being honest, as far as what is Steele's upside outside of like goal line stuff and score for scoring fantasy points. That's where I have the questions between Perine and Steele. But it is the Chiefs offense. It's a fantastic offense and environment for both backs that can be fantasy viable.
Yeah, you'll see, Kev, when Steele runs all over my Atlanta Falcons on Sunday night, because I know he's going to. It's going to be one of those true conundrums that I have where I'm happy for Steele owners like me and Stacy and sad, as usual, being a Falcons fan. So.
All right. Well, us redheads have to stay together. So that's why I liked Carson Steele. Gives him a little edge for me. Guys, just a reminder too, if you are watching over on Twitter, you can get in the chat. If you jump over on the YouTube channel over there, jump in the chat. If you have questions for us, throw those in. We will definitely get to them. So I realized that this might be an issue a couple weeks ago. So those of you watching on Twitter, if you want to get in the chat, want to see what's going on there, jump on.
What was an issue?
Just like if people didn't realize, like, hey, where's this chat? And you can't. I don't think you can chat on Twitter. You have to go over to YouTube if you want to get in the chat. So
thanks, Elon Musk.
Exactly. Thanks, Elon. So, Rich, take us home. Talk to us about Cam Akers and why we need to go get the number 2 in Texan or in Houston. Sorry.
Sure. So, this is going to be short and sweet because there was an update. I thought that Mixon was going to be out longer after watching that hip drop. Like it did not look good, and I was really worried. So I was thinking Cam Akers was going to be a great grab. Does not look like Mixon's going to be out long after the MRI that came in. So I think Mixon's going to be good. He's still going to be the guy there. That said, if you can get Cam Akers, I mean, if you have a spot for him on your bench, maybe he'd be a good play for this week if they do decide to rest Mixon a little bit just because of that ankle injury. He averages on his career is 4.0 yards per carry. So far this year, he's only had 7 attempts, but he's averaging 4.6 yards per carry. Yeah. And he's good in the pass game too. So short and sweet, I do like Cam Akers. He actually looks a lot better than I thought he was going to look coming off of those Achilles, the Achilles injuries. And I'm just happy to see him out there playing again, honestly.
Yeah.
That was the big reason why I wanted it.
Yeah, I was just saying, big cheat code for fantasy this year. Take the guys that are coming off of Achilles injuries between Dobbins and Cam Akers look pretty spry.
Running back, that's a good idea. QB, not so much.
Not so much.
Well, you got to give it a couple weeks. You got to let them, work. You got to let Kirk work through.
It needed to be the very first play of the year for you to get that Achilles injury, not halfway through the season.
Yeah, the earlier that you can injure your Achilles, I think the better, certainly for your long term.
First of all, who misspelled Quentin Johnston's last name, and second of all, who put the emoji?
To be fair, I mean, some of that is warranted. It is Quentin Johnston, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, that's okay. Everybody knows who we're talking about. All right, guys. So we're going to move on to the wide receivers real quick. We got Wan'Dale Robinson up here coming in 19%. We got Quentin Johnston 16, Alec Pierce at 14, Juwan Jennings at 6, and Jalen Naylor coming in at number 5. Erica, give us the deets on Wan'Dale.
Yeah, so Keith actually brought him up at the very end last week. So PPR machine, he's averaging 8 PPR fantasy points. It's not a whole lot, but the Giants have like one of the highest passing rates of all the teams in the NFL, which is just weird to me. So it's a very pass-heavy offense, and all they have is Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson. So he's their go-to number 2, and he's getting the targets right now.
It's the issue when you're down all the time is you're forced to pass.
True.
Well, what's also kind of gross is that you want to know who's one of the top fantasy points per game quarterbacks right now.
Daniel Dimes Jones.
Danny Dimes. Yeah. That's a little disgusting. All right, Quentin Johnston. Kev, I know this makes us all a little sick, right?
Look, I'm not going to say this is one of my prouder moments in my fantasy football career here, touting Quentin Johnston on purpose. But look, we all have to make sacrifices in this economy, and that's what I'm just going to do here with Quentin Johnston, wide receiver 22 currently. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, DJ Moore, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, all wide receivers that Quentin Johnston is currently ahead of. Keith, will you stop nodding? No, I'm just kidding. You can keep nodding. We saw your picture from like 2000 and to. He leads the Chargers in every single receiving category. That certainly includes yards per route run. Pulling a 2.07 yards per route run right now. He looked pretty good last week. I know the Chargers are very, very run heavy. They have a negative like 13% something pass, 14% pass rate over expected. They only threw 20 passes last week, but he came down with a nice 50-50 ball. Granted, it was on the play right before where he lined up for an illegal formation. So we are still working out the kinks on Quentin Johnston, but at least, look, we have to, I already said this before, we do have to open up our third eye to the possibility of players that we thought were bad improving in year 2. Who knew? Rookies can improve from one year to the next. And while I'm not saying that Quentin Johnston is going to be an immediate like 2 yards per route run guy and we're going to draft him in the 6th round next year, not saying that, but look, 6 targets, 5 for 51 and 2 touchdowns. I think at least you have to keep him in mind if you need a wide receiver. Look, we were picking up Allen Lazard last week. The bar is already low enough.
Yeah, I mean, like we got Alec Pierce over here too on the list. Like there are guys that last year didn't have the best years.
It's okay to change your opinion. I know we're in a world where like you can't. It's okay to like when data comes in, things change. You can change your mind with new information. That's okay.
And I do want to make it abundantly clear. I am not changing my mind on Allen Lazard. That is a bridge too far.
I want to add just to what Kev's saying, because he talked about how much the Chargers have run. They have upcoming games with the Chiefs, Cardinals, Bengals, Saints, Ravens, Falcons, teams that I expect they're going to have to throw the ball more. So I think Quentin Johnston is a good ad just in general because
he's a flex play.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you would need him for. And then on the off chance that, we're talking about a first round wide receiver. Right now. I mean, there are worse bets to make. I mean,
with Herbert throwing them passes, a pretty good QB. So.
Right.
Yeah. Rich, Alec Pierce.
Yeah. I had to go with wide receiver 8 on the year, top 10 wide receiver right now that is only 14% owned in leagues. He's averaging 19.1 points per game. If you look at what he did in the first game, there wasn't a whole lot of targets, but he had that really long bomb for the touchdown. He ended up scoring 21.5 points that game. The next week, he had more targets, didn't have the touchdown, he did get another touchdown, but he didn't have quite as many yards. So he only scored 16.6, but still 16.6. That's not bad. I was really surprised by Alec Pierce coming out. I figured he'd be a part of the offense. I didn't think that he would be as big of a part of the offense as he has been. And I'm trying to pick him up wherever I can right now.
I have a hot take, very hot take.
Let's hear it.
Ooh,
Alec Pierce is infinitely better of a fit for Anthony Richardson than Michael Pittman is.
Ooh. That is spicy.
Michael Pittman's going to be like wide receiver 45 this year.
How do you feel about Josh Downs when he comes back, Kev?
I think he's a definite fit for like if Richardson. I think Downs, because Downs and Richardson, I mean, so does Pierce, but I do think that with Anthony Richardson needing to scramble a little bit more, that they're going to be kind of a little more simpatico with needing to find an open spot for him to get rid of the ball. I think that's going to be better suited for Downs and for Pierce, guys that can move around, that have athleticism. Not saying Pittman doesn't, but that's not Pittman's game. Pittman is literally a big clunky tight end that happens to play wide receiver. He's a possession guy. Like, it just doesn't fit him. And I think even though Pittman had a big game with Anthony Richardson in 2023, I do think that it's a the bet is getting thinner for Pittman to hit any kind of upside. I mean, you had to draft him in the 3rd round. I think it's very tough to find that. And I'm sorry, Angie. It brings me no joy. It brings me no joy to put that hate in my heart for Michael Pittman. Or to even say that, hey, I think I was right about Michael Pittman. But we're not going to say that. We're not going to, throw it out there.
Keith, talk to me about Jawan Jennings.
Okay, first of all, very confusing way of spelling his first name. And this is for deeper leagues, and this is just kind of a streaming play. I'm only looking for him while Debo's out, but they paid him this offseason, which is significant. Samuel has ran 65 routes through 2 games. Jennings has been on the field a lot, 48 routes himself. So you would think he is most likely to roll into the 2 receiver sets. He can help the Niners stretch the field, 14.4 yards per reception. And when Samuels has missed time in the past, the Niners had CMC. And I know we all think Mason has looked great, and he has, but the big thing is CMC was such a help in the passing game to where they had another legit pass catcher to lean on with Debo out. I don't know if they have that outside of obviously Kittle's going to smash over the next few games. I think Ayuk's going to be a lot more involved, but I mean, Jennings in the first game Debo missed last year, 5 for 59. And I just think this Niners team in Debo's absence, they are going to run the ball a lot. And that's going to open up the play action. And they're going to be looking for run, big play over the top. And to be honest, Jennings is right there along with Ayuk as somebody who can really make plays down the field. He's a big wide receiver. He's fast. He's got good hands. And if you were an opposing defense, would you spend more attention on Brandon Ayuk? Or would you spend more attention on Juwan Jennings? So I just think Jennings has a chance over these next couple of games while Debo is out to feast. So I think he's worth a stash if you can't find a wide receiver and you need one for the next few weeks. I'm going to be playing him in DFS this week for sure.
Yeah. Didn't he catch a touchdown and throw for a touchdown in the Super Bowl?
He did.
Yeah.
He is the ultimate break glass in case emergency wide receiver.
Right.
Yep.
He looked really good in that last week.
Oh, sorry, Rich. What'd you say?
I just said he looked really good in that loss last week.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I love it. That made my night.
All right. Yeah. Well, Rich, I'm going to feed into your Vikings love just a little bit more here and talk about Jalen Naylor. Rostered in 5% of leagues.
Hardly know her.
11, right? He is averaging 11.8 points per game in PPR formats. He's got 5 targets on the season. You're like, he's got 5 targets on the season. Why the heck is he in a waiver article? Let me tell you why. So of those, he's got 75 total yards and 2 touchdowns. His average depth of target is 17.8 yards. He is one of their field stretchers now that Addison is on the shelf for a little bit. Not sure exactly when he's coming back just yet, but he's playing 93% of the snaps in the game last week. So that is pretty significant usage for me. They do play Houston next week. Houston has given up an average of 27.5 points per game to opposing teams' wide receivers. So for me, that is enough to go ahead and throw him on in my deeper leagues. If you've got the room, if you're looking for a guy with a really high upside in the wide receiver position. Guys, I see your questions in the chat, and I promise you we will absolutely get to those. We are going to run through our tight ends real quick. Over here, I see Captain, you've got a question. It's kind of regarding a tight end here, so I am going to save that till we get to those. All right, so let's skip on over to our tight ends. We've got Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki, Zach Ertz, and Eric All. Look at that, 2 Bengals tight ends on our list.
Take a wild guess who recommended the guy that's 0% on. So just take
0%, third on the depth chart. You got some explaining to do, Keith, when we get to you.
Damn right I do.
All right, Hunter Henry, Rich, Erica, do you guys want to thumb wrestle for who gets to talk about Hunter Henry?
Go ahead.
No rock, paper, scissors. Okay. I'll keep this really short on my end of things. The one note that I had, I'm in only one league with Andrew Cooper, and he took Hunter Henry, and I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Big shock for the Andrew Cooper to take Hunter Henry.
Homer pick.
Where do you get your ideas?
Maybe perk up a little bit. He is tight end 5 on the year so far. 12 targets last week, 8 receptions, 109 yards. Didn't have any touchdowns, unfortunately, but still, that was a really good showing by him. And really, there's not a whole lot of reliable receivers on that team. That was the big thing that I was taking away from it. Like they do have their receivers, but I feel like Hunter Henry might be the most one of the more reliable ones on the team. The only other thing that I was going to say was I'm a little concerned over strength of schedule. They do have a pretty tough schedule coming up, but I still think that he's going to be heavily involved. So that was a big reason why.
He is their wide receiver 1. He's getting 32% of all offensive targets right now. So he is their guy as a tight end.
Tight end neighbors, people are saying.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
People are saying.
Well, and if Drake May gets thrown in the mix too, like what's a rookie quarterback's best friend? Veteran tight end, right? Hunter Henry, veteran tight end. Maybe that's for sure.
Some are saying.
Well, I mean, you get to talk about a veteran tight end later over here with Zach Ertz. I want to talk about another guy that's been around for a while, Mike Gesicki, rostered in 10% of leagues. Guys, I don't understand why he's rostered in only 10% of leagues with the chaos that's going on in Cincinnati right now. He is 6th in tight end scoring per game. You guessed it. He is also let's see. What is he? He's averaging 10.5 points per game in PPR formats. Guys, 5th in yards at the position. He's got 109 yards and no touchdowns yet, but at least one that definitely should have been. He's leading the Bengals in targets. He's leading the Bengals in targets. All right.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts when Chase and Higgins get,
well, when, if, who knows what's going on with those two.
Mm-hmm.
So in the meantime, until those two can get their acts together, guess what? We got Mike Gesicki over here throwing up 30+ points in the Scott Fishbowl. So if you're smart enough to go grab him in the fishbowl, you were rewarded very well for that. You just had to start him on
I had Bowers. Sorry.
Yeah, I was too busy drafting Bowers. Sorry.
Oh, I had Bowers actually also on my team. So
well, we're gonna fight. Let's do this.
Look at that. Also, real quick, since we're talking about the Bengals, Andre, my boy Andre Yoshivas, okay, coming away with not one but dose touchdowns last week. The only player who has scored touchdowns for the Bengals. Did you guys know that? Andre Yoshivas.
On the bench, right? For our vampire.
Yeah.
On the bench for our vampire team. We don't need to talk about the vampire team. I have a quick question for you guys. A little quick trivia. This is for those of you in the chat as well. There are 8 tight ends who have scored a single touchdown this year. No tight end has scored more than 1 touchdown. Can you name them all?
Oh, Likely.
Yep.
Gesicki.
Nope.
Henry. They scored a touchdown.
Only one. There's only
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, Pitts is in there.
He is in there.
Hunter Henry.
Nope.
Yeah. Has he scored 2? Or has he not scored 1?
I don't think Henry scored any. No, he
didn't score any. Nope.
No, Fant.
Nope.
What?
Why don't you just read them to us? I
Monroe.
thought
Ferguson?
Monroe.
Foster Moreau. Exactly.
Yeah,
all right, we got
Moreau.
George Kittle. We got Chig over in Tennessee. We got Elijah Higgins in Arizona. I know he's tight end. You got Jawan Johnson, and then my favorite.
Oh yeah, McBride on a fumble recovery. Way to go, Andrew. That's a great
Yeah.
Okay, who's my favorite tight end?
The porta potty.
No.
Washington.
Darnell Washington, baby.
Yep.
Yeah. There we go. Those are your 8. Yep. Yeah, McBride actually did score. So why does his not show up?
Because I think
it was a fumble.
It's actually a fumble recovery. It's not a reception.
Let me correct that. Receiving touchdowns. My little trivia for you.
Technicality.
We do have some questions.
Kevin, tell us about our old Zach Ertz, old man Ertz.
Again, it pains me to be touting the olds here. Zach Ertz is definitely one of those olds. Second highest marks on the team in targets, receptions, or receiving yards, I should say. 15% target share, like not super great, but there's also not a ton of passing volume. And it's very much spread throughout the team. So that's actually halfway decent for and a 9.8 yard ADOT for Zach Ertz is very bullish for him at this stage of his career. I think he's 33. But look, you're pulling a 10-yard ADOT in a tight end group across the league that averages like 5 to 6 yards. I mean, that's pretty good. If you're looking for fantasy scoring, you want the high ADOT guys. Those are guys that have thrived on that, like Darren Waller, Mark Andrews, Kyle Pitts, guys like that. So you definitely want the longer ADOT that comes with target earning. I mean, that's going to only help you in fantasy. 1.5 yards per route run. And, for a tight end, that's not bad. Like, we have a higher bar for wide receivers, but for a tight end, that's really not bad. 62 and 61% slot rates in the first 2 weeks of the season to go along with 82 and 84% route participation. For fantasy tight ends, you want somewhere around the 70% range for route participation. So for him to clear 80% is excellent. And Ben Sinnott is not exactly knocking on the door for Zach Ertz, even though you can make the argument that the ultimate tight end cuck, Cliff Kingsbury, might have a hand in that. But look, I think he's only played, let's see, Ben Sinnott has only run route on 8.8 and 10% of routes, only 22 and 16% of routes, or of snaps, I should say, for Sinnott. So I don't think he's anything you have to worry about. John Bates is purely a blocking tight end. It's Zach Ertz in the slot, and you need to go get him, and 10% of leagues is low for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Keith, bring us home on Eric All from the Bengals.
Okay, well, now I know why you were hating on Eric All, because you have Mike Gesicki as your recommendation. So now I know what's going on here. Eric All was my second favorite tight end in this rookie class, behind Brock Bowers, of course, just ahead of Ben Sinnott. And unlike Ben Sinnott, he is already eating into the playing field and getting onto the field for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think he is a much better fit once they get Higgins, Chase, and get that offense healthy and rolling than Mike Gesicki, because he adds an entire another dimension. Burrow has proved throughout his career that he's not the most likely guy to throw to tight ends, but hey, that seems to be changing. They only threw to tight ends in the game on Sunday. And I really do. I think Eric All is a freak athlete. He's big. He can block. He's got great hands. And I'd never in a million years, I drafted him in Scott Fishbowl, took him in the auction startup draft I did. Never in a million years did I think he would be playing snaps by week 2 and catching 4 balls for 37 yards. So I think he's going to continue to eat in and eventually be the number 1 tight end on that team. And from what I saw from the Bengals, when they get Higgins back, we've seen this before. Joe Burrow is 1-9 as the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals his first 5 seasons in their opening 2 games. I think this Bengals offense is eventually going to get rolling, and Eric All could end up being a really good tight end to have down the stretch, because as we've seen, tight end is just a wasteland right now, kind of outside of Brock Bowers and Trey McBride.
Absolutely. So speaking of Brock Bowers real quick, we got Captain over here, huge fan, already sub. Thank you very much for that. He just sold Flowers and Worthy for Bowers. He feels like it's pretty bold. Keith, I bet you don't think it's that bold.
I don't. I would have tried to maybe offer Pitts instead of Flowers and Worthy, but I mean, I know you got to do what you got to do, but
yep.
I am confident Bowers will end up being, what did you tell me today, Kevin, right? He's getting more first read targets, I believe, than Devontae Adams right now. So
I believe he is, yeah.
I mean,
like
that was not me that told you that, but I will.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Sounds. You know what? You can just sell me on that. It sounds right.
Does anybody know the best way to cook crow? Because I definitely will be eating it with all my Bowers takes. I was wrong.
That's okay. I watched him for 3 years. I had an advantage, Rich. He really is. He's the best offensive player I've seen at Georgia, and I've been watching Georgia games for over 3 decades. So right. I mean, he's a beast, and I think the Gardner Minshew type quarterback is only going to help him, because he's got to get rid of the ball quickly. And that's what Brock really, excels at. Put him on a corner or safety. They can't cover him. He's too strong. Put him on a linebacker. He's going to run right by him.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys. I want to get to Andrew's question real quick before we go. I know we are running a little bit over that 9 o'clock, so we're going to do this real fast. Just a yes or no if you would start this player over the other. So Andrew has a 14-team full PPR. He's got Achane, Connor, Jefferson, Adams, and Bowers. Look at that. Should he flex Alec Pierce over Christian Kirk this week? He started Kirk both weeks. His team is 2-0 right now. I would punt Kirk into the sun at this point if I could. That's my answer.
BTJ is the best wide receiver on the team, if we're being honest. But it's tough. But they play at Buffalo. That game is probably going to get slowed down a little bit. I don't know if I feel that comfortable starting Pierce, but I understand it. I would probably, they're both even. They're even. Just go vibes. If you feel like Pierce, put him in. Like, that's defensible.
I would much rather start Kirk still. I know it's rough. It's early in the season. Ingram may miss yet another game, which is huge. I think things will get better for Kirk and this Jacksonville offense as the season goes on. It can't be as bad as it was the first 2 weeks.
Erica, Rich?
I gave up Pierce as my answer for your waiver wire to this week, and I would still be starting Kirk.
Ooh.
Same.
I'm the only one who's done with Kirk. I'm done. I can't take anymore. I just can't.
I'm not done with Kirk, but there's concerns. I mean,
I have concerns, but if you're asking me, him who could be the 1 or 2 option next week versus a Buffalo who's going to score points. I've been scoring plenty of points. Or Pierce, it's the like third option, especially if Downs comes back. I'm starting the guy that's going to get more volume always.
Okay, if Downs comes back, then yes, then I agree. Then I guess I would go Kirk if you have to make that choice.
I would feel better about Kirk. Like, what's going on in Jacksonville right now? Like, you guys know, I don't know if you guys know about the whole offensive play calling where it's Doug Peterson and Press Taylor like alternating drives calling plays, and it's almost like
why
you can.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Because it's Doug Peterson, and who knows, but. Like Press Taylor, you could tell the drives Press Taylor is thinking almost like it's an automatic tell, and he's going to be fired by like week 6.
Was that the reaction from week 1, or is that like
he's been doing that? He's been doing that since week 1.
Wow,
they've been like alternating play calling, like they both like devise their game plan, but like between the two of them, because technically Press Taylor is the OC, but. It's so weird the way, and that's why we're getting so much, just inconsistency from this entire offense.
I love him. Rich is front and center, man. There he is. That's right.
Somebody for fixing that. I don't know how to use buttons over here. All right, guys. Thank you so much to everybody who's hanging out with us tonight in the chat. All the comments, love it. Keep them coming, guys. We will be back next Tuesday night, same time, 8:00 to help you with your waiver wire picks for next week. Make sure to run on over there, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button for us. Make sure you're getting all the most up-to-date information from all of us at Fantasy and Frames. And don't forget, go check out Erica and Gary's articles for waiver wire, more deeper dives into these players. You can find those over at fantasyandframes.com. Guys, thank you so much again for hanging out. Everybody, have a great night, and we will see you all next week.